In Birmingham, Alabama, 1990, the world of motorsports came together to honor 20 of their sport and induct them as the first members of the International Motorsports Hall of Fame, a historic event that originated from one man's dream. That man was Bill France Sr.
In those years in the early 70s, he kept telling me about this dream of his of we need to do that because baseball has its Hall of Fame and honors their people that have done this and preserves its history, and football and all sports do, but motorsports didn't really have a place on a worldwide basis that covered every form of motorsports, and that's what he was wanting to do. And Governor Wallace agreed that it would be a great thing to have in the state of Alabama representing motorsports. So he picked a commission of 18 people and instructed them to see to that a facility of this nature was built, run, and done properly. And in 1981, it became a reality with the groundbreaking of the International Motorsports Hall of Fame here on the site of the Talladega Superspeedway. The Speedway itself donated 35 acres of land to the Hall of Fame and to the state of Alabama. And Bill France himself saw to it that items and memorabilia from 1902 to present were collected from around the world and put on display here.
Over 100,000 people from across the nation and throughout the world annually visit the International Motorsports Hall of Fame to view its vast collection of the sports memorabilia of interest to more than just race fans. Your journey through racing history begins with a walk down this hallway lined with display cases filled with the personal effects of drivers both past and present. Entering the Daytona showroom, visitors discover a galaxy of cars in every color of the rainbow displayed in mint condition, including the 1972 State of Alabama Javelin Patrol car. This is the only one of an original 192 still in existence. And the late country music singer Marty Robbins' Winston Cup race car, which he donated to the Hall of Fame. The Bill Elliott exhibit, complete with a short video presentation of his career, includes Elliott's 1985 Ford Thunderbird, in which he captured the fastest 500-mile race ever run, averaging 186.288 miles per hour in winning the 1985 Winston 500 at Talladega Superspeedway. One of the most recognizable race cars is the number 43, driven by Richard Petty, who many consider to be the king of stock car racing. His red and blue STP Dodge Charger has an illustrious career record of 31 wins. This Ford Talladega Torino, named after Talladega Superspeedway, it is one of only 500 such cars ever produced and was driven by NASCAR great Donnie Allison. On August 27, 1961, the Mad Dog 4, driven by Art Malone, completed the world's first 180-mile-per-hour lap at Daytona International Speedway, making it the fastest race car for 1961. For the motorcycle enthusiast, there is a selection of cycles, including this 1912 Sears Twin, one of only two in existence. The Daytona Room is just the beginning of your adventure through the history of motorsports.
The International Room houses a variety of vehicles, from go-karts for the younger visitors to antique and classic cars for the older folk. Among the many attractive displays for visitors' enjoyment is Davey Allison's Winston Cup winning Ford Thunderbird and Neil Bonnett's short track racer. modified, dirt track, ASA, open-wheel midgets, and Winston Cup racers, from the past and the present, from tracks all across America, complete the wide variety of cars included in the International Room. Youngsters of all ages will be intrigued by the variety of karts on display, and fascinated at this Comet superkart that reaches speeds of 145 miles per hour. Antiques and classics are found among the unusual, just like this Sears experimental electric car that was originally made to be sold at all Sears stores. The car could only travel 100 miles before stopping for a recharge. Even near brushes with tragedy are enshrined at the Hall of Fame, like Phil Parsons' stock car that somersaulted through the air after an 11-car crash during the Winston 500 in 1983. The International Room also houses the remains of Michael Waltrip's Busch Grand National car. The accident happened at Bristol, Tennessee, April 7, 1989. Incredible as it may seem, Michael was able to walk away and race again the very next day.
Two of the most popular exhibits are the 5-ton, 30-foot-long Bluebird, brought from England by Sir Malcolm Campbell, and the world's fastest car, the Budweiser rocket car. Of all of the men of speed, none was more celebrated than Sir Malcolm Campbell. In 1935, he drove the Bluebird to a record speed of 276.816 miles per hour on the sands of Daytona Beach. Later that year, he broke his own record with a 301.13 mile per hour run on the Utah Salt Flats. In his time, Sir Malcolm Campbell became the very symbol of man's quest for excellence. As the Bluebird was the speed marvel of its day, the Budweiser rocket car with its jet engine and steel wheels is the wonder of today. Under Air Force guidance, this modern-day engineering machine is the only vehicle to break the speed of sound on the ground, reaching the speed of 739.666 miles per hour at Edwards Air Force Base, California. The Budweiser rocket car, holder of the land speed record, is permanently displayed at the International Motorsports Hall of Fame. At the 1990 Hall of Fame induction ceremonies, Classic Wheels talked with Stan Barrett, driver of the Budweiser rocket car, and Gina Jensen Campbell, granddaughter of Sir Malcolm Campbell.
What do you feel was his driving force in racing that made him want to go out there and race and be one of the early pioneers in motorsports?
I can immediately smile and laugh because my grandfather was a Scotsman, and one could turn around and say there was a hell of a lot of money in it in those days. And in fact, if I can have the time to tell you a very funny story, when he was knighted by the king asked him to arise, Sir Malcolm, and then he whispered in his ear, "Tell me, old boy, why do you really do it?" And my grandfather replied, "Can you think of a better way of earning £10,000? That was a lot of money in those days.
Stan, I know that you are very much involved in the racing and motorsports, and what's it like traveling at 739 miles per hour? I cannot imagine.
Well, it's probably no different than it was for her grandfather going 300 miles an hour, or her father, who was a great racer and held the land speed record and also the water speed record. At the speeds they went, you know, it was the fastest that any man had gone at that time, and I think it, you know, for me to go 739 miles an hour was quite a thrill, just as it was for them.
We'll be back with the second half of our feature on the International Motorsports Hall of Fame and Museum, which will include a behind-the-scenes look at the 1991 Hall of Fame ceremonies with inductees former Winston Cup champion Ned Jarrett, the legendary Tim Flock, American road racing great Carroll Shelby, and the host of the ceremonies, country music artist T.G. Shepherd and Ricky Van Shelton. All this is coming your way after we continue with more of the best of classic wheels. Media and fans gathered on July 26, 1990 for the ribbon-cutting ceremonies opening the doors to the newly completed building which housed the first inductees to the International Motorsports Hall of Fame. This welcome greeted visitors who were given their first look at the facility, which houses a multitude of racing equipment, from Formula One and Can-Am racers to Fireball Roberts Pontiac built by Smokey Yunick to Tim Flock's Mercury. A recent addition to the displays is the STP Racing Simulator, which lets you feel what it's like to drive a 3,200-pound race car on the high banks of Daytona at speeds reaching 200 miles per hour. But the most prestigious part of this building is the Hall of Fame, which exists not just on paper, but through physical enshrinement, where portraits and trophies honoring the first 20 inductees will be joined annually by more greats who have been selected to receive this cherished distinction by a committee of over 150 motorsports media from throughout the world. In 1991, the world gathered once again to honor the second group of 10 inductees. Televised nationally by TNN and hosted by country recording artist T.G. Shepard, who returned from last year, and Ricky Van Shelton, who talked with Classic Wheels.
It was a real honor for me because I am such a race fan. I have been for many, many years, and to be in the presence of great legends like that is a night, most memorable night for me, and I'll never forget it.
Matter of fact, I'd never had co-hosted a show before, but when they asked me to do this, to be part of this Hall of Fame, and to see all these drivers, I said yes, you know. So yeah, I'm a big fan.
Well, it's a great honor to join all the people that some of them I've known, others I've respected all my life, and I remember this as an ambition of Bill France Sr. many years ago, and to be a part of it makes it especially special to me.
I can't tell you how much it means to be in Birmingham for the International Motorsports Hall of Fame induction, and to be one of the 10 inductees here tonight is something that I would never have believed would happen to me.
Oh, this has been a great 2 days for all these legend drivers that have been invited over here. It's probably the Academy Awards for all of us.
As we go through the years, I think the credit will have to go to Bill France, who foresaw in 1970 what actually happened in 1990. 20 years, he saw the potential for what our sport needed to finally enshrine these people that have made it grow and have lended so much of their lives to the sport.
The 10 inductees, Tony Battenhausen Sr., Ralph De Palma, Tim Flock, Phil Hill, Ned Jarrett, Fred Lorenzen, Bruce McLaren, Wilbur Shaw, Carroll Shelby, and Bill Yukovich Sr. joined the present elite list of legends in receiving the pinnacle of honor from their sport. Fans and visitors come from every state and 35 nations to add their own special honor to these men by touring the facility and looking at the displays. The displays include volumes of vintage photographs which follow racing from its fledgling beginnings at Daytona through the tragedies along the way to the #1 sport it is today. With as much as the Hall of Fame has to offer to its many visitors each year, there is even more. The Western Auto Mechanics Hall of Fame, the World Karting Association National Hall of Fame, the American Race Car Association Hall of Champions, and the Alabama Sports Writers Hall of Fame. With new and ever-changing displays and plans for the addition of a library where racing information and history will be available, the International Motorsports Hall of Fame is a facility you will want to visit soon and often. Guided tours of Talladega Superspeedway, home of the Winston and Die Hard 500s, where so much racing history has been made, are available each day, leaving from the museum every 20 minutes. And finally, a must for all fans is a visit to the gift shop filled with collectibles and memorabilia of your visit to the Motorsports Hall of Fame.
I think it will be a very historic visit to visit the people and their accomplishments of what they did to make motorsports racing the sport it is today.
37 horses. The boldness of Governor De Soto, well sustained by the courage of his companions. We discovered a river in a green vale and passed by the village of the Coosa. The governor was greeted by a powerful chief in a litter covered with the white mantle of the country and borne on the shoulders of 60 men of nobler rank. There were in this village plums, like those in Sevilla, and small wild apples. But the Indians told us of the abundance of gold, and believing in the reality of such riches, we ranged the hillsides in search of such secret places.
Oh, come on. When are we going to get there?
We're getting close. We're getting close. Just about there.
Really?
Yeah.
I wonder where we're going.
Me too.
Could you give us a hint?
Oh, you're getting that. We've given you enough hints already. We're just about there.
Hey, Mom, is that where we're going?
Yeah, you guessed it.
Oh, wow.
You made it, finally.
We're finally here.
What is a maze?
Oh, amazing. Enclosed place where it's got
De Soto Caverns is a marble onyx cave system containing one of the largest underground rooms in North America. The great cathedral room is larger than a football field and higher than a 12-story building. Here, visitors can watch a spectacular sound and laser light show.
Welcome to De Soto Caverns, the first officially recorded cave in the United States, where history comes alive.
De Soto Caverns is located 36 miles southeast of Birmingham, Alabama. It's reached by following State Highway 280 to Childersburg, then turning east on Highway 76, the De Soto Caverns Parkway. This highway, which leads to the Coosa River, was the route taken by the Spanish explorer Hernando de Soto and his men during the 16th century. But the cave itself had been used by man thousands of years before that expedition.
I'm Al Mathis, president of De Soto Caverns. The caverns have been in my family for 4 generations. Started out with my great-grandmother, Ida Mathis, who purchased the land back in 1910, the purpose of mining the onyx out of it. Fortunately, the stalagmites and stalactites were never mined, and in 1965, the caverns were opened as Kaimolga Onyx Cave, as a show cave. In 1975, the cavern's name was changed to De Soto Caverns in honor of the famous Spanish explorer Hernando de Soto, who visited this area in 1540. Here at De Soto Caverns, we like to say that we provide the convenience and God provides the beauty.
While De Soto didn't find gold in Alabama, other explorers did, and present-day visitors can try their luck at panning for gold or gemstones.
Ooh, that's pretty.
You just dip it down in the water, but you don't dip it too far because you'll lose everything. And you can do circles with your hands or do the pan like this.
Here at De Soto Caverns is the country's only water-powered rock saw.
I'd like to welcome each of you to De Soto Caverns today. What we're doing behind me is we're cutting onyx. We're using a diamond-dusted saw. Now, diamond is the hardest mineral known to man. On the Mohs hardness scale, diamond ranks around a 10, and the onyx that we grind through with the diamond edge saw ranks around a 3. What we'll do is we lock the onyx down onto the platform, and we allow the weight of the onyx to rest on the saw, and this helps with the grinding through. After we grind through a piece of onyx, there might be some rough edges. So what we'll do is we'll come right over to these saws and grinders right in here, and we'll grind away all of the rough and sharp edges that might have formed during cutting. Now this process takes maybe around 15 to 20 minutes. The majority of it is the grinding through on the rock saw over here. After we grind through the onyx, like I said, and we polished it down, what we'll do is we'll soak it in some different concentrations of muriatic acid and water. Now the muriatic acid and water, it eats away all of the dirt and the impurities on the stone. And after we do this, what we'll do is we'll just soak it in some water itself, and this will clean away all of the acid on the stone. Now you might not think it, but with just this short process.
DeSoto Caverns Park is a people business and prides itself on visitor courtesy. Don't forget the sunglasses. Why, if you like, we'll even tell you where to get lost. DeSoto Caverns Lost Trail, covering 3/4 of an acre, is Alabama's first maze. It's a fascination, if not a confusion, to explorers of all ages.
Ladies and gentlemen, the next tour to DeSoto Caverns will be leaving at 12 o'clock. If you have not purchased tickets and would like to go, tickets are available inside the gift shop. Thank you.
Okay, let's get started then.
Rain or shine, 363 days a year, visitors to the caverns experience a sense of wonder in an ecosystem of unique beauty and unchanging climate.
Since it's such a hot day, we've adjusted the temperature in the cave to a cool 60 degrees for your comfort. Those of you who would like to return during the winter months should know that we'll be warming the cave for you at that time to a comfortable 60 degrees. Now, if you'll follow me, and please use the handrail on the stair.
Because the entrance to DeSoto Caverns is on the side of a mountain, the descent to the cave floor is less than 50 feet. There are no longer any bats resting in the cave. They found it easier to sleep elsewhere, away from the bright lights and visitors. DeSoto Caverns is a solution cave system. That means it was formed when slightly acidic water seeped into the earth, causing its calcium carbonate, or limestone, to be dissolved. Later, the water level dropped and the caves filled with air. Seepage, which continued to enter the cave, lost some of its dissolving power and calcium carbonate was deposited. How it was deposited depended on a set of conditions so complicated that scientists are still uncertain of some of the forming processes. Some of the more common formations, or speleothems, are stalactites which hang tight to the ceiling, stalagmites which grow upward from the floor, and columns formed when the two grow together. Draperies are formed when water flows down a wall slowly. But there's nothing common about this immense drapery. It's multicolored and 34 feet long. Ancient Indians of the woodland period used the cavern as a burial site. Their descendants, the Muskogee Indians, named their local village Lunhemga, which means fathers coming out of the hill.
I want to show you something very interesting over here. Back in 1965, the University of Alabama came down into our cave, and they uncovered some bones in this area where I'm standing right now. They're not 1,000, but 2,000 years old, and from the woodland period of Indians. It was a copina burial, and the way the Indians used to do it is they take the bodies and lay them outside on racks until the vultures had eaten all the flesh off the bones. The bones that were left, they put in a grass sack, and they brought them down here in the cave and laid them right down here at my feet. And they poured clay over the bones, and the clay would ooze in and around and between the bones and seal them off to preserve them through the years. If you look down here, you can see a few of the bones. We have a jawbone and a pelvic bone and a few others. These are castings of the original bones. They are not the originals. DeSoto Caverns is the foremost Indian burial cave in the southeast.
One of the interesting things about cave burials is the
limestone, or in this case dolomite deposits, as the materials is taken up by the water in solution, it covers other calcium-bearing objects such as human bones and does not allow disintegration or the groundwater acids. So you have excellent preservation of skeletal materials within the cave.
The tour along DeSoto's passageways covers about 1/3 of a mile underground and lasts about an hour.
This is Confederate well.
Oh.
Now, during the Civil War, Confederate soldiers used our cave to make gunpowder. And in the leaching process, they needed water. And since it was so much trouble to go in and out of the cave, they built this well right here. Now, we do know...
A formation of pure calcite is clear or white. Onyx, another form of calcium carbonate, may be stained with mineral oxides. Yellows, browns, and reds are caused by the presence of iron, while grays, blues, and black are colored by manganese. Over time, however, erosion on the surface above may change the mineral content and layers of a different color may be deposited. Since the growth of speleothems may be erratic, it's practically impossible to accurately determine the age of the formations. But a rough estimate is that about 1 cubic inch of growth occurs every 200 years. Along this path, nature has carved many treasures for the imagination. Here's Old Man North Wind and a friendly spirit.
He pressed us on, for it is said there are many trades among these people, an abundance of gold and silver, and many pearls.
Continuing to the back of the cave, visitors discover the wishing well. This fountain of water falls to a pool below and disappears.
And if we don't have room for that, we'll stand in the back.
A photo area in the cave offers visitors group or individual pictures processed and ready by the end of the tour. Except for the sounds of water, caves are normally silent environments. But given a rubber mallet, DeSoto caverns can sing.
Top of flowstone like the waterfall and the draperies, except for the gap at the top. So if you hit them with the palm of your hand or a rubber mallet, the vibrations will make sounds like so.
That's really neat.
Would you like to try?
That's great, Jordan. Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
During Prohibition, moonshiners hid a working still deep in the cave. Soon after, it became a speakeasy, a landmark nightclub for the Birmingham area. But the clientele was so rowdy, and by the time federal agents closed it down, it had become known as the Bloody Bucket. Recently, the spaciousness and splendor of DeSoto Caverns led 4 motion picture companies to film scenes inside the cave. Movies like The Lost Platoon and Rascals and Robbers were fast-paced suspense movies.
Ain't it grand?
In the early 18th century, a well-known landowner and Indian trader from South Carolina rested at the cave for a few days. I.W. Wright carved his name on this rock, but when the Indians found him defacing their burial cave, well, it was the last time Wright wrote right on anything. Actually, this marker is the oldest graffiti found in any U.S. cavern. As the first cave conservationists, perhaps the Indians were onto something.
Created the heaven and the earth.
The highlight of the tour is a spectacular sound and laser light show based on the creation. 15 leaping fountains provide a three-dimensional backdrop for whirling colors and dancing stars.
On that day, we had searched diligently, but found naught save a few large pearls. The general bade several of his men to ride to higher ground, and to take with them the Indian guide who yet promised many riches beyond this place.
DeSoto Caverns Park is an exciting, entertaining, enjoyable experience for the whole family. 100 picnic tables await hungry visitors, and a spacious thatched roof pavilion easily accommodates large groups. With advance notice, breakfast, lunch, or supper picnics may be catered.
Yeah.
Waterfalls, ponds, and a gazebo. There's something for everyone at DeSoto, for the young to the young at heart. And for special dessert treats, the gift shop offers delicious ice cream and 16 flavors of homemade
While you're
fudge.
here, we invite you to browse through our gift shop. There are polished gemstones, slides and photos, drums and feathers, plaques and pictures, puzzle toys and rubber snakes, pendants and earrings, hats, caps, and area maps, birdhouses, paperweights, rock candy, keychains, blankets, books, things to cook, and lots of t-shirts.
Hi, this is our best Laura. I think you'll like it. A lot of people wear these. This is an extra large. Let's see if it'll fit. There you go.
Shady campsites await overnight guests. There are complete hookups for motorhomes, campground restrooms, and hot showers. There's even a Pine Grove Island with Indian teepees, each large enough for 5 campers. The more adventurous may take a candlelight tour through the cave, and groups may actually spend the night in the cave.
Eddie reached down and felt something bony.
Hey, where's the light?
DeSoto Caverns Park hosts 3 major weekend festivals each year. In April, thousands of visitors watch authentic Indian dancing and shop with artisans exhibiting a variety of skills. Bluegrass music and cloggers liven up Septemberfest, where craftsmen and artists from all over the Southeast display their talents. Civil War campsites are set up and actual skirmishes are reenacted. Every weekend from Thanksgiving through December, a Christmas festival of lights is held inside the cavern.
Since